Nice defense there by Bosco as they all of a sudden give that ball up. That was Peter Torres. It falls out of bounds for a Garey throw-in. As right now, it's Garey on the attack after a dangerous service in from a corner. Garey now on the attack off of Bosco defense after a cross and just punched out of harm's way there. It was Alex Nold serviced all the way up the field. As Bosco really kind of stuck in the ground so far in the second half, because first half they were knocking the ball quite nicely. This half a different story, but they do have the lead. That is the important thing. Gill now working his way on the offensive third of Bosco and service to Sarmiento, and he utilizes his right marking back, that is Espitia. The service into the box and gobbled up by the Garey keeper. Because right now it's a little back and forth with possession. And Garey now back with the ball, and they do a little 1-2 and dance around the Bosco defense, and a nice flick over Alex Nold and the keeper Koba coming off of his line. So nice job by Koba to come off of his line, the sophomore keeper for the Braves. As now it is still out of harm's way, and Garey still very much on the attack in this half. So they've done a fantastic job in the second half. Really just a different team as a whole in the second half. As your Braves do have the lead 1-0 here late in the second half. As it's kind of not settled down right now. The ball is kind of up in the air, up and down in the air. And a lot of ball watching right now by the Braves. And Sarmiento comes in hard on a challenge, loses his boot. Referee, there's no call there. As Bosco works its way up into the offensive attack. And Gill now on the far side of the field goes one-on-one, shoulders his way past a defender and tries to earn a corner kick, and that rolls out of bounds for a Garey goal kick. So your goal scorer for the Braves is Marcos Garcia, as you have some substitutions coming in for the Braves. Olmos is going to come back in. Macias is coming back in. And also that is, I believe, Garcia hopping out. Oriela, Sarmiento, and Martinez out of the game. So Bosco now, and just a few minutes left in the second half, as it is kind of 50-50, if not 60-40 Garey, and a little 1-2. Gill misses on the return pass after a strike inside the box and missed it completely. So unfortunate there for Gill, who was on the right wing on that attack. And Garey now flicks the ball up to their forwards and trying to just knock it long and get past the back line of Bosco, who plays 4 on the back line. As they retain possession there, and Bosco trying to step up and keep the pressure on them from that back 4. As the ball now knocked out wide on the near side of the field for Garey. One-on-one they go against Peter Torres. Right outside the box. He serves it to the top of the box, and another service, and that rolls out of bounds off a Bosco defender. That was David Rodriguez. And it will be another corner for Garey. The last one, very dangerous. Ball in play from a corner kick. Fortunately for the Braves, it did not work for Garey, but there was a lot of pressure inside the box. Garey now on a corner, and they play the short corner, no service inside yet. They finally get the ball up in the air on the far side of the field. And completely out of pressure now for Garey as ball struck up and over the goal. As Koba making sure the ball sails completely out of bounds. As with just a few minutes left here, 7 minutes left in the second half between your St. John Bosco Braves and the Garey Vikings out of Pomona. 1-0 your score after Marcos Garcia put the ball in the back of the net after a rebound off of the post. A sloppy goal kick there as it sails right out of bounds for Garey. The Vikings with a much better second half here. Bosco a little flat-footed in the second half, but nonetheless producing a goal. That's more important. More importantly, maintaining the lead right now is nice defense there by the Braves along the near side of the field. And again, off of Bosco, and at the last second right off of the Garey forward. It'll be another throw-in for the Braves. Lohman on a long throw. Gets it all the way downfield along the near side to Gill, and he tries to flick it over his defender. Nothing doing. Wins the possession back, looking over his options right down the middle of the field. And he ends up playing it to the far side, and that sails out of bounds. That was Espitia on the reception from Gill. Rolls right out of bounds. So 1-0 your score here with 5.5 left to go from Bosco Tech here in Rosemead. As your Braves on top of the Garey Vikings now. Long ball for the Vikings forwards to work with. As they step up and win the ball back. Torres now playing the ball to the near side of the field to the goal scorer Garcia, and it's broken up by Garey. And Garey now trying to tussle its way back, and Nold with some nice defense there as Lohman just hits it up in the air and out of the danger zone. As Garey now trying to really maintain possession here. They've done a better job in the second half competing against the Bosco Braves. As a low ball served across the 18-yard box out of harm's way as Garcia now knocks it up looking for Gill and does not hit him. As if he knocked it to his feet, that was a clear path for Gill to work with. Lohman now lets the ball bounce, and it is still a Garey throw-in, and they work their throw-in, and Bosco does a nice job breaking that ball up, and Gill now let loose on the attack. And somewhat of a counterattack. Now he's on the left side of the field, near side of the field. Service the ball across and hammered away for a Bosco goal. That was Garcia with his second goal of the night. So nice service there from Gill as he broke loose along the near side of the field. And served it across the middle of the box. And Garcia took his time, took one extra touch, struck it with his left foot, and into the back of the net for the Braves. Kind of limping off the field now. Substituted out is Peter Torres for the Braves. He looks to be okay as he limped off and he's just having a seat now on the bench. As Bosco now with another goal, but it is waved off. That would have been the same combination as the last goal. Gill to Garcia, and it was offsides. So no goals. Still remains 2-0 here with just a few minutes left in the second half. just over 3 minutes now. As Garey playing a much better half, but hasn't produced anything offensively. Bosco really trying to figure things out here in the preseason. That's what preseason is for. And Coach Sabat kind of mentioned at halftime that he wasn't 100% happy with the performance in the first half. The ball now sails out of bounds for a Bosco goal kick, but Coach Sabat had mentioned that kind of a flat first half, and right now that I can see the second half, it's not too much better, but they do have the 2 goals over Garey. And that's what I was mentioning just a few minutes ago, that preseason is here for a reason, a little tune-up session before they do battle in the very tough Trinity League Division I Southern section for your St. John Bosco Braves. As they start that on January 9th, that will be against Santa Margarita, at Santa Margarita. After that, they will play Servite, so very first 2 games for Bosco to open up league play this season. They did have a very nice season last year with a 13-game win season. So losing in the 3rd round of CIF to San Clemente 2-1. So Bosco now trying to hold off Garey and making sure they lock up this win here in the Tech Winter Tournament. Do have a chance in advancing in the tournament still. And there's a foul, a little bit of a collision there right before midfield. This Bosco player slow to get up, but he is up and running. That is Luis Espitia. A little collision there between him and the Garey defender. His Bosco ball. They will serve it all the way down to Gill, who tries to deflect it past his defender. Not sure what the referee was calling there, as Gill was the man trying to flick the ball on. I guess he knocked him down very back end of that play. So it is Garey ball now with under 2 minutes left to play. The official timekeeper is on the field, the head referee, with the time on his wrist. As Bosco wins the ball back at the middle of the field, and Garcia now down the left side serves the ball across, and Gill on the other side of that ball, but broken up by Garey. So nice defense there by the Vikings. As Bosco now earns a throw-in on the near side of the field. Trying to add one more here before time is up. 2-0 is your score. Your Braves on top of the Garey Vikings. As there's a substitution, a late substitution now, before the ball is thrown in. Referee signals that Lohman is okay to throw the ball back in after late substitution there by Garey. There's under 2 minutes here to go from Bosco Tech in Rosemead. 2-0 is your score. A long throw-in by Lohman that's deflected out of harm's way, and it is a goal kick for the Vikings. So Lohman, a really nice weapon there along the sideline. He has a long throw-in capability, as it's almost used as somewhat of a corner kick. And that is your final whistle here from Rosemead, California. Your St. John Bosco Braves 2, the Garey Vikings 0. So 2-0 win here after a 3-1 victory last night against San Gabriel out in Los Angeles. But your Bosco Braves will continue in the tournament. They will play Woodrow Wilson tomorrow at 5 p.m. as your coverage is here all season long for your Bosco Braves soccer season on Spreaker.com's National Sports Radio. Thank you for joining us on the broadcast tonight. We'll see you next time as the Braves take on Woodrow Wilson tomorrow. Don't forget, league play begins January 9th at Santa Margarita. So for everyone on Spreaker.com's National Sports Radio, thank you, fans, for joining us. All you St. John Bosco fans, it is a 2-0